to the point where this one pot cooking has been cooking now for half an hour to 40 minutes. The rice is cooked, and we've also got our groundnut stew. I have to say it smells really nice in here, and we've got a lovely unctuous sort of stew with the groundnut or the peanut butter is melted in with all the spices, and the butternut squash and the sweet potatoes are all cooked and the chicken's all cooked. Now, traditionally what would happen in Africa is there would be a series of large serving bowls, which what they would do is they would quite often serve them up for different groups of the family, and they would put the rice or the yams or the cassava or whatever their starchy stuff they're doing, they would put that in the bottom, and then they would put on top some of their groundnut, their stew, whatever stew they'd cooked that day. So it's a bit like how we serve curries. So, they would take their stew and they'd put it in there, and most probably not everybody would get loads of chicken, because that would be the quite expensive ingredient. They would actually share that amongst themselves, and then the finished dish would be served like this, and maybe 3 or 4 people might share this, and they would eat around a table together, and they would use their hands, they use their right hand to eat, and they would take a little bit of the rice. It'd be very hot, but they seem to be quite used to it. They'd pick a little bit of chicken, they'd pick a little bit of butternut squash, and then they would eat their little section of the bowl, and so all the bowl was empty. So that would be a traditional way of eating the African stews when they were with the large families. But as I'm not an African, I'm just going to have a little taste and see what it's like, and use a fork, because some obviously Africans do use forks, but there is a tradition to use your hand. Very nice. So hopefully from watching this film, you've got a good insight on what it's like living in West Africa. You've seen some of the film, and certainly by me showing you a little bit about African cookery, you might get a little bit more idea of the sort of foods they eat and how they cook. So if you've been paying attention, what I would now like you to do is spend a bit of time with your teacher, and they'll be asking you some quiz questions to see how much you've absorbed and remembered about what I've told you on the film today, and maybe some of your own thoughts about what it might be like if you were an African, and what you would be living, how you'd be living, and what you would think of the food, etc. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to hearing what sort of things come out from your discussions.